Hello and welcome to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show. Welcome to week 8 of the Orange County High School football season. Already we are in the stretch drive, Steve, which means that league races are heating up like the Trinity League. Last week, Santa Margarita shook up Orange County football by defeating Mater Dei, snapped a long winning streak to the Monarchs. You and I both did not pick the Eagles to pull that upset, but you did do better than me last week in the picks by one game, and you do lead me now 25. Your record is 26-15, Steve. So it is heating up in league play, isn't it?
Yeah, this is fun. Finally we got the Alpha League are playing each other, so this is good.
Yes, we're going to be talking about two Alpha League games, so let's get right to it. As the stretch drive officially begins, and it really helps having the Alpha League involved. So on Thursday, going to go to SoFi Stadium, Alpha League opener for Edison, number 14 in Orange County, 5-2, coming off a bye, taking on undefeated Los Alamitos, 7-0, ranked 6 in Orange County, and the Griffins, Steve, coming off the rare double bye. You don't really hear about that too much with the schedule these days. Los Alamitos last played September 26th, and it's October. We're recording our show on October 14th, so it's been a long time for the break for the Los Al Griffins. Edison, led by a fine junior quarterback, Sam Thompson, leads a pretty balanced offense for the Chargers. Thompson has got 9 TDs, 1 interception. Los Al has been a little bit more run heavy, counters with Camden Tillis, who's been their leading rusher, kind of emerged at the running back position as all-purpose Lenny Ibarra is moving all around the field, including leading the Griffins in receptions. Who do you got in this one, Steve?
Los Alamitos. They just look so gosh darn good. They look like the team that is the top challenger of Mission Viejo for that championship of the 4-team Alpha League. Edison had such a great year last year, right, Dan? They won the Southern Section Division III championship. They won state championship and senior heavy last year, and they lost a lot of guys from that phenomenal team. So, of course, they were going to, naturally they're going to slip a little bit here, and they have. But they're still, Edison pride of program is famous. Everybody who follows Orange County football or is, coaching it or what have you, officiates it, they all know about Edison's pride and how they're just going to go for it. They're going to give you 48 great minutes of football, man. But their 48 minutes of great football is not going to match up to Lenny Ibarra and all those really good athletes on the Los Alamitos side. So, yeah, the Griffins are my pick.
Are you all concerned, Steve, about this long break Los Al's had? I mean, could they, teams sometimes don't come off the bye too well.
Yeah.
They lose some of that momentum, and it's hard to get it back. Yeah. They've had a long one, and now they're going to, SoFi will certainly excite the players to be on the NFL field of the Chargers and Rams. But does the bye week concern you? The double?
Yeah, of course it does. 2 weeks off without games is quite a bit, but I think after a couple series of being a little bit and overwhelmed by the giant screens and everything that is at SoFi. And Edison's got to deal with all that. What the heck is, I don't think they use all those screens for a high school game, but still the place is gigantic and it's such a beautiful gosh darn building when you're inside of it. I think they're all going to be kind of freaking out. But I think Los Al, after a couple series, they kick the rust off and they'll be fine.
Okay. And I do have some concerns with Los Al being on the long break, and I know it's not ideal. I know Coach Fenton hasn't been a big fan of it, but they've handled so much this year already and have adjusted to so many things from traveling and playing tough opponents. So I think Los Al gets the win there. So we agree on that one. All right, so keeping it with the Alpha League, which is like you said, Steve, 4-team league. It's debuting. Kicks off here in week 8 because there's just 3 rounds of it. So on Friday, how about this one? San Clemente, number 12 in Orange County, 4-3 at, again, number 1, reassert itself at number 1, Mission Viejo, 6-1. Both these teams coming off just the regular bye week. So Diablos, in their bye, they became the number one team in Orange County again after Santa Margarita beat Mater Dei. Of course,
Sure.
Mission Viejo beat Santa Margarita in the season opener. So that's, really what people are looking at, though. I do think it's a bit of a tough decision. We'll see, if Mission, stays number one for the regular season, but for now, they're number one again. This matchup is, you got Luke Fahey, the Ohio State committed senior quarterback, thrown for over 1,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, one interception only. So he's been very accurate, got a plethora of receivers that he's working with. And, San Clemente, which has shown that they can play Mission Viejo, not only tough, but win in this series in recent years under Coach Jaime Ortiz. This has become a very good rivalry, and they're going to counter with a really good two-way player that I like a lot. And I know you do as well. Jackson Rex is a junior contributing to offense. He's one of the top tacklers on defense as well. Who do you got in this one, Steve?
Excuse me, gosh, Mission Viejo. In talking about Mission Viejo and all the good things they do, there's been a receiver over there who's kind of emerged, Jack Junker.
Yeah.
And he's their leading receiver. He's got 9 touchdown catches. He averages 19 yards a catch. That's a very productive guy out there, with Van Spafford, still fantastic guy, but Junker's the guy that's kind of grabbed it. Then defense, you got JD Hill going and attacking quarterbacks, and that he does as well as anybody in the county, perhaps. So, Mission Viejo, looks really good. I expect them to be undefeated, 2-0 in league. They're going to, when they play Los Alamitos there in the final week of the season.
Okay. I'm also picking the Diablos to win this game.
Yeah.
I expect San Clemente to play pretty well, but I think the Diablos could be a tough one, with all that offense that they bring and some of that pressure and swarming defense. But always good. I'm sure, with both teams going to be well prepared for this one. And it is a very good, one of the better rivalries going on, one of the more heated rivalries, intense rivalries going on in Orange County football.
And, and before we leave that one, the things that I said about Edison prior to program, they're going to give you 48 minutes, also applies to San Clemente.
Absolutely. And a lot of these teams, and we've been talking about some intense league rivalries lately, from the Battle of the Bay. Just last week, there's some intense teams that are, they're really getting after it. And I expect, Mission and San Clemente to definitely get after it. All right, Steve, let's go to the Iota League. So I kind of went a little bit off the top 25 rankings map on this one, but I think it's a good game.
It is.
Irvine 6-1, won 5 straight. At El Toro 4-3. Both these teams won their opener. The highest ranked team in the Iota League, right, is who? As far as the county rankings,
Trabuco.
It is Troy. Troy's
that's right. Out there. Troy's number 25. They're 6. Yeah, they're 6-1, and they're also in that 3-way tie for first with Irvine and El Toro. Yeah. Troy.
So the winner of this one,
league, I don't want to think it.
No, I mean, there's so many leagues now. The changing of the leagues, it's a lot to keep up with. But the winner of this one between Irvine and El Toro, I think, is going to emerge as that big contender for Troy to kind of set up, I think, an exciting Iota league. So, but like I said, Irvine Vaqueros won 5 straight. They got a 2-way guy going that I know you have seen, and I know that the Vaqueros coach Richie likes, and that's Sina Starfazadad. He's a dual threat quarterback, kind of as a first-year starter, is really playing well on offense. He's also a linebacker. El Toro's going to maybe counter with a little bit more diversity on offense as far as maybe more playmakers with Wyatt Nucci and Makai Chi at running back. Wyatt Nucci, a junior quarterback who's showing progress.
Sure.
And I'm interested in this one, because I kind of think El Toro's probably played a tougher non-league schedule. They challenge themselves with Tesoro, Trabuco, Aliso, all top 25 teams at some point. I know Trabuco has slid recently, but who do you got in this one, Steve?
Yeah, and talking about all those games that El Toro went over Trabuco Hills 56-14, and Trabuco was the only team that beat Huntington. Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
So all kinds of weird things that mess with us trying to figure out the rankings and all that. Yeah. I saw Irvine play. I saw Cedar Suffers out of play, and that kid can go. He is something, man. He's such a great two-way player, and he's just one of those guys when you talk to him after the game. And that guy loves to compete. He loves football. He loves his team. He loves his teammates. He's just it was such a great kid. And I think if you look at it logically, El Toro, that win over Trabuco Hills, should win this game. And I think they throw the ball a little bit better than Irvine does too. With all things being equal, passing, the ability to throw the football effectively in Orange County football, that makes a bit of a difference to me. So, man, I think this is it's a tough game to pick, but I'm going to go with El Toro, Dan.
Yeah, it's a tough one to me as well, because I like the way that Irvine is coming on right now. But I think it's going to be a great game. That's why I wanted to spotlight it a little bit. I'm also picking El Toro.
Okay.
But I think it's one of the better games, kind of flying under the radar. And I think we'll be talking more about both these teams, whoever wins it. Later on in the season as the regular season rolls to the end.
Yeah, both will be tough in whatever playoff division they wind up in. Both will be a tough team to beat.
Yes. All right. Let's go to the Trinity League, the closeouts, Steve. So
I've heard of that league.
Yeah. And I'm trying to spice it up, try to give some variation going on. So that's why I think this one is the tougher, maybe the tougher pick. And I'll explain why here momentarily. How about Orange Lutheran, 3-4, 0-2 in league, at JSerra, 3-4, 0-2 in league on Friday. So it's interesting. You got Orange Lutheran, number 4 in Orange County, JSerra, number 7. So you got, two highly ranked teams in Orange County. Something kind of has to give. Some team's going to get their first Trinity League win, which is going to be huge. They're going to feel good about themselves because of that. They're going to be 4-4. They'll be at 500. They'll feel good about that. But there's some interesting stuff going on with these teams. Orange Lutheran has started freshman quarterback Ezra Brown the past 2 games in Trinity League. Reagan Toki was hot in the non-league season, but it's the freshman that is getting the snaps, more of them right now. He's the brother of former Mater Dei standout Elijah Brown, who's now at Stanford. So, and then JSerra's got a boost at quarterback as well from sophomore Gino Wang, who led them on 3 straight wins. But in the Trinity League, both these teams are struggling. Have you seen JSerra in the 2 games in the Trinity League? Of course, it's been against very tough competition.
Yeah.
But they've given up on average 56 points a game in just 2 games. That's that's quite alarming. And then Orange Lutheran on offense, they have 1 offensive touchdown in their past 3 games. But again, it's been juggernauts of Sierra Canyon, Mater Dei, and St. John Bosco last week. So there's some interesting stuff going on at quarterback. Seems like JSerra maybe has found their guy in Gino Wang, who showed a lot of promise as a sophomore. And it seems like Orange Lutheran's still working through how we doing with Ezra, bringing him along. They got their standout running back eligible now, the sit-out guy, and Sean Morris, who's committed Northwestern, but they haven't got to unlock him yet. So there's some interesting things going on. This is why I picked this game for us to predict. More so, maybe I could have gone Mater Dei, Servite as well, another great rivalry game, but can't go wrong. But I picked this one. Who do you got, Steve?
Man, if you look at the teams that Orange Lutheran has lost to, the 4 teams they've lost to, their combined record is 24-2. So it's, I don't even want, think about that as like, ooh, that's detrimental, but it's not. It's, they've played a really tough schedule, but I think because of their defense, which can attack, I think they're very disruptive group against JSerra. So I think Orange Lutheran wins this game, Dan. I think the offense will get in track. They're going to, Morris will have a good game for them. I think they're, from the stats are right. They're short. They don't throw it deep at all with the young Brown at quarterback. But I think their defense is really good. I think they've got the dudes over there. They've got Marcus Fukatau as the edge rusher guy who's going to be first team all county. That guy's something else. So I think with him getting after it, that defense, Pretty quick on the backside of the defense too. I got Olu winning this game, Dan.
Okay. I am also picking Orange Lutheran. I thought we might disagree on this one, but because I am impressed with the competitive feistiness of JSerra. I think I think Gino Wang, he's really working well with Clark Coakley right now. Clark is on fire. 3 straight 100-yard receiving games, 6 touchdowns in his last 3 games against good opponents. So he's lighting it up. But I have a feeling that Orange Lutheran's going to get that running game going. They have a big offensive line. They should have some size advantage, I think, in the trenches in this one. And I think they're going to somehow unlock Sean Morris. Orange Lutheran's got some talented receivers. They haven't got to get going, but I expect JSerra to make some plays. So this will be a very good game. But we both agree on this one. All right, Steve. So the game of the week, it's also the Trinity League. It could end up being the Trinity League Championship this year, which I don't know if people, I didn't have this on my bingo card at the beginning of the year. Bosco 7-0, 2-0 in the Trinity League, taking on Santa Margarita 5-2, 2-0 in the Trinity League. So the winner of this game, which is set for Trabuco Hills High School on Friday, it's going to be the sole possession of first place. So that's what this game has become after the Eagles stunned Mater Dei last week 7-6 again a huge win for the Eagles and first year coach Carson Palmer. So for me, Steve, there's a lot of momentum behind Santa Margarita, obviously, because they hadn't beaten Mater Dei in quite some time. Snapped a 11-game losing streak against the Monarchs, but Bosco has plenty of momentum too. They've scored 70 points against JSerra. They scored 48-0 win against Orange Lutheran. They're number 1 in the country. They're playing great. One matchup I really like in this game. Bosco got a sophomore quarterback Koa, who's been very efficient and getting more and more connected with his outstanding receivers. His cast of receivers led by Madden Williams, Texas A&M commit, against the Santa Margarita defense. That is just playing lights out, and they're the best defense, I think, going in Orange County. They're going to be at home, and there's also an interesting history for, I think, Santa Margarita can draw some confidence. And last year they played at Bosco in league. The game was scoreless going into the fourth quarter, and then the Braves won 13-0. And then in the playoff game, it was a very close game at St. John Bosco. Again, it was 31-29 in favor of the Braves in the Division I quarterfinal. So very close games for Santa Margarita last year against the Braves. I think Santa Margarita is better, but I think the Braves look better than they were last year as well. So going to be a very good game. I think closer than the HS ratings projection, which I think was 28-7. But I think it's going to be a good game. Who do you got in this one?
Bosco. Bosco's got 3 shutouts. So, we're talking a lot about Margarita's defense, but they got guys on that side of the thing too. And the Eagles, the Santa Margarita Eagles, man, I was so impressed by the whole group. And Trent Mosley's back. Scored the touchdown for the Eagles last week, and got open, caught a bunch of footballs, and he's a difference maker. Everybody's probably tired of hearing me say this is the most dangerous offensive player in Orange County, but that he is. And but St. John Bosco just got too much offensive guys. That quarterback. And I'm going to look at his name here because I can pronounce it. Malau Ulu, 17 for 21 against Orange Lutheran, which is a pretty good defensive team as well. And the Braves scored touchdowns in their first 4 possessions against Orange Lutheran. So they come out rolling. They come out attacking. Santa Margarita played great defense. I think if you call them the best defense in Orange County, I think that Mission Viejo might say, hey, we beat them 7-3. Yeah. So, maybe we got the best defense in OC. Yeah. So there, and that game, Mater Dei was pretty close to winning that game. There's, Ryan Hopkins just missed on a couple long balls to Gavin Honoré and a couple other dudes. Would have flipped the table all around. But they did make the plays. Margarita made the plays, deserved to win. Fantastic. Good stuff for the Margarita kids. But St. John Bosco is a different animal, man. Just too much offensive guys out there. Um, they've outscored teams, 47 points per game against 9 points allowed, and playing a pretty rugged schedule. St. Francis Academy, et cetera. So I go with Bosco, gang.
All right, I'm also picking the Braves. So we agree on all 5 games. This
Those are
week.
logical picks. Irvine-El Toro is the one that's shaky for me, buddy.
Okay,
that's the one that's shaky on me.
All right, at least I gave you something. How did you think that Santa Margarita reacted after beating Mater Dei? Do you think they how was their celebration? Was it tempered? Were they super excited like they won the Super Bowl? How do you think they kept it? Because I think that's good insight into maybe how they are approaching their season as far as obviously Carson knows all about how to manage a long season, that you have to you have to look at the big picture, and there's a lot more games in the Trinity League and the playoffs.
I think they handled it just right. They have the exuberance you expect of people at that age level who won a game like that hardly anybody, including you and I, thought they were going to win. Hey, there's always a chance somebody's going to win. I mean, that's what makes sports the best drama going. Just look at the baseball playoffs. What the heck, So that you never know what you're going to get with these young people. I thought they handled it just right with the exuberance. There wasn't, trash stuff and pushing and shoving. And the Mater Dei guys, handled it pretty like they should have. They felt pretty humble. They weren't, angry jerks about it. They were just like, man, that team, God bless. They know they ran into a team that hit. And by the way, the hitting in that game was like crazy. The Servite Santa Margarita game, those back-to-back Trinity League games that I've covered, the velocity of the pummeling of guys hitting each other and in that league is like knocking people's teeth loose. It is something. And we got a lot of that last week. So I think there's a lot of respect. Mater Dei was properly humble, didn't act off. Margarita, exuberant, but properly respectful. Fear nobody, respect everybody. Does that come from Carson Palmer, who's an NFL guy and has been through that a lot? Yeah, maybe it does. Steve Fafita? Yeah, I think so too. It was good. I thought it was handled, and I was on the field. I got on the field. That's a long, different story, but I got on the field, and that's what I noticed.
Yeah, and I noticed, in your interview with Carson, he looked pretty composed afterwards. So I thought that was, somewhat telling that I think the Eagles, I mean, they got big plans, and rightfully so. And they're going to see. They could definitely see a Trinity League rival in the quarterfinals of Division One. If the playoffs started today, it could be Santa Margarita Mater Dei as a quarterfinal in Division One. So, but hey, if Santa Margarita pulls this upset, this would Division One would look a lot could be a really shuffled, and the Trinity League could be pretty wild as far as bringing into maybe Mater Dei somehow gets back into the race if they can close.
Mater Dei's got the tools there. They got the fellas. They just need to get that stew going and figure out the ingredients and how to use them properly. Again, Bosco looks like that team. I haven't seen. I did see Sierra Canyon. They're a super team as well. I wouldn't put it past Margarita to win this game. Figure out some way to do it. It just. The guys they got running around, Logan Hero on defense, along with Dash Fafita, Simonte, those guys are just tackle machines and so fast. And I think Deuce Smith, the running back, I think they need to, even though you got Mosley, if you're Margarita, you got to get Deuce Smith 70+ yards. You got to keep Bosco guessing. You got to get 8-yard carries out of that guy. 2nd and 2, 3rd and 1, stuff like that. You got to, if you're Margarita, you got to get those downs. You got to you can't look at 3rd and 15s. You can't do, and they got penalized quite a bit, Margarita, in the second half of the game. First half, nothing though. But they had a couple of penalties. They got to keep the lid on that, which they did overall really well. can't go 3rd and 20, 1st and 20 on the Braves. You got to watch that stuff. I think it's a very disciplined team for the Santa Margarita Eagles that I saw. You know, you mentioned the way they handle after the game. I think they got the goods, dude, but I still think Bosco wins.
All right. Well, we will see how it goes. It is a big week 8. There's a lot of games. I mean, we didn't even preview Modern Day Servite, which is on Saturday at San Diego Stadium. That is, you know,
everybody's smelling something, man. They smelling something that they hate. This Modern Day team might be right for the picking, you know.